There is something about a man who has found his center. He walks into a room, and though he may not say a word, the room begins to respond, not to his title, not to his appearance, not even to his words, but to the invisible force that surrounds him. That force is his aura, and it is either the most potent asset he carries or the greatest liability he neglects. Your aura is a living declaration of who you are, not who you say you are, but who you actually are. And when that aura is strong, when it is trained, when it is purified through discipline, conviction, and vision, it becomes too powerful for most people to handle. But do not let that intimidate you. Let it inspire you, because the power of your aura is not to be feared. It is to be refined. It is not to be suppressed for the comfort of others. It is to be mastered for the fulfillment of your mission. You must understand. People may compliment your words, they may praise your work, they may be impressed by your skills, but it is your energy they remember. It is your presence that lingers after you've left. And the cultivation of that presence is no accident. It is deliberate, it is forged. You build your aura through the private decisions that most never see. You build it in the moments when you want to quit but choose persistence. You build it in the face of criticism when you choose grace. You build it in the silence of study, in the solitude of discipline, in the crucible of purpose. A man's aura is nothing more than the broadcast of his character. And character is not born in public, it is built in private. Every day you are radiating. Every interaction, every choice, every silence, every movement is transmitting something. And the question you must ask is this: what am I transmitting? Am I radiating insecurity or certainty? Am I broadcasting fear or faith? Am I leaking doubt or projecting confidence? Because whatever you are radiating, you are attracting. You cannot fake frequency. You cannot pretend your way into authenticity. You can speak all the right words, wear all the right clothes, earn all the right accolades, but if your energy is out of alignment, the world will feel it, and more importantly, you will feel it. The most powerful aura is not loud, it is aligned. Not noisy, it is noble. Not arrogant, it is anchored. Anchored in purpose, anchored in truth, anchored in self-mastery. Many men never access this level of presence because they are too busy performing for the world instead of preparing within. They are addicted to the applause of others and starved of internal approval. But when you become a man who no longer needs validation to move, when you can walk in silence with conviction, when you can smile without seeking to be seen, that is when your aura begins to rise. That is when people begin to notice something about you that they cannot name but cannot ignore. You do not need to be loud to be powerful. You need to be clear. Clear on who you are, clear on what you will and will not allow, clear on what your life is here to represent. This clarity eliminates confusion, and confused people are always intimidated by those who are sure. That's why when your aura begins to grow, some will misread you. They will call you arrogant, distant, even cold. But do not allow their projections to distort your direction. You are not too much. You are simply no longer willing to be too little. You see, your aura is not meant to be digestible for everyone. It is not meant to be palatable to the average. It is not supposed to make everyone comfortable. In fact, the more refined your aura becomes, the more discomfort it will create in those who are not willing to confront themselves. That is not your burden. That is their opportunity. You are not here to shrink. You are here to shine. But let us be clear. Shining does not mean pretending. It means becoming. It means aligning your actions with your values. It means showing up with the same strength in private that you carry in public. It means honoring your word even when no one is watching. It means saying no when it would be easier to say yes. It means keeping promises to yourself that no one else will ever applaud you for. That kind of consistency builds a force field around you, a vibrational integrity that cannot be faked, cannot be bought, cannot be copied. And that force field, that is what makes your aura magnetic. You've heard it said, energy doesn't lie. And I am here to tell you, neither does alignment. When you are aligned with your purpose, your energy speaks with clarity. You do not have to announce yourself. You do not have to explain yourself. You simply walk in, and people feel something shift. Because your aura is not just the result of who you are, it is the evidence of who you've chosen to become. Most people don't understand that your presence is earned. It is earned through pain transmuted into power, through failure redefined as feedback, through delay embraced as development. Your presence grows every time you remain faithful in the fire, every time you choose vision over validation, every time you remain calm when others panic. And when you have enough of these moments stacked behind your soul, you no longer have to try to impress anyone. You simply are. You are steady. You are grounded. You are radiant. And that radiance cannot be replicated because it was paid for with pressure. It was forged in fire. It was built in the trenches. And that's why it feels so rare, so unshakable, so undeniably real. Do not apologize for that kind of presence. Do not apologize when others don't understand you. Do not apologize when your stillness disturbs their chaos. Do not apologize when your standards convict their complacency. You are not here to manage their comfort. You are here to model what alignment looks like. You are here to be the quiet proof that power is not in performance, but in presence. And if you stay the course, if you continue to refine your mind, protect your energy, and discipline your decisions, you will discover a truth that few ever encounter. Your aura will begin to work for you. It will speak on your behalf. It will attract the right people, the right rooms, the right results, not because you're hustling harder, but because you're vibrating higher. Not because you're striving, but because you're aligned. This is what it means to walk in the fullness of your presence. To show up with nothing to prove and everything to offer, to carry silence that teaches, to radiate peace that transforms, to be so rooted in purpose that the winds of circumstance no longer shake you. And when you become that man, you will no longer wonder how to attract what you desire, because it will already be following you. Why? Because your aura always leads. It leads before your words. It leads before your work. It leads before your talent, your title, or your timing. It is the sum total of your energy, your integrity, your clarity, your consistency. And when those are in order, the world cannot help but respond. You must never forget that people feel you before they understand you. They feel your certainty before they hear your credentials. They feel your presence before they process your words. That's why I've said over and over again, what you carry inside is more important than what you show outside. Your aura is the signal of your inner world. And if your mind is divided, your energy will be confusing. If your priorities are compromised, your presence will be weak. But if your mind is clear and your spirit is clean, your aura becomes undeniable. This is why personal power begins with private purification. You cannot lead externally what you have not mastered internally. You cannot command respect if you do not first respect yourself. You cannot expect others to believe in you if you are still negotiating your own worth. And this is why aura, true, unshakable, powerful aura, requires total honesty, brutal self-examination. The courage to remove anything from your life that does not reflect the man you are becoming. Because aura is not about impressing people, it's about expressing alignment. It is about radiating the man you've been sculpting in silence. It's not about showing off, it's about showing up fully, consistently, authentically, without apology. Because you've done the work, you've confronted the lies, you've faced the fears, you've paid the price, and now you carry the presence. People may not always like it. Many will not understand it. But even your critics will respect it because real energy cannot be denied. And what is this presence made of? It is made of standards. The kind of standards that don't waver based on who's watching. The kind of standards that hold up when you're tired, when you're tempted, when you're tested. Standards that are anchored in principle, not popularity. It is made of emotional control. The kind of control that allows you to remain calm in conflict, composed in challenge, and clear in chaos. Not because you suppress emotion, but because you've disciplined it. It is made of confidence, but not the kind that needs to be loud, not the kind that's afraid of silence, not the kind that needs to win every argument. No, the quiet kind, the kind that comes from knowing who you are, from knowing why you're here, from knowing what you bring. And most importantly, it is made of vision, because without vision, your aura has no direction. Without vision, your energy has no target. Without vision, you'll exhaust yourself trying to impress people who are not part of your calling. But when you are guided by vision, every step becomes intentional. Every room you enter is strategic. Every word you speak is laced with purpose. And that purpose, that is what people feel. It's what sets you apart from the average man. The average man walks in hoping to be accepted. The man of purpose walks in ready to serve, ready to elevate, ready to lead. Not because he needs attention, but because he's aligned with his assignment. Let me tell you this, and let it sink deep. You are not for everyone, and that is your power. You are not supposed to be accessible to every environment, every relationship, every circle, every conversation. You are not supposed to be digestible for the average thinker. You are not supposed to be liked by everyone you meet. Because if your aura is truly rooted in purpose, it will naturally challenge people who are still living in fear. And when that happens, you have two choices. You can shrink or you can shine. You can conform or you can continue. You can compromise or you can carry the truth you've been entrusted with. If you truly desire to carry uncommon energy, you must make peace with being misunderstood. You must let go of the need to explain your evolution to those committed to stagnation. You must accept that your vibration will unsettle people who have never met someone unshakable. And when that moment comes, do not flinch, do not fold. Stand tall in your frequency, because your aura is not just for you, it's for the people watching, it's for the ones learning through your example how to rise. You are a walking invitation for others to raise their standard, to refine their thoughts, to elevate their posture. That is what you carry. And if you hide that light, you rob the world of what only you can radiate. So how do you protect this energy? You protect it through discipline. Discipline over your mouth, over your calendar, over your emotions, over your thoughts. You cannot afford to think like the crowd and expect to lead it. You cannot afford to speak like the crowd and expect to influence it. You must become so intentional that every habit, every relationship, every conversation reflects the man you've decided to become. You protect it through solitude, time spent away from noise, away from opinions, away from influence. Solitude is where you sharpen your edge, where you align with your values, where you remind yourself that everything you need is already within. It's where your aura gets recalibrated. You protect it through boundaries, not as punishment, but as protection. Because not every request deserves your response. Not every opportunity aligns with your assignment. Not every open door is meant to be walked through. The man of aura does not go where he is simply invited. He goes where he is aligned. And most of all, you protect it through purpose. When your eyes are fixed on a purpose greater than yourself, you no longer waste energy on petty things. You stop explaining. You stop reacting. You stop being dragged into nonsense. You rise, and every time you rise, your aura strengthens. It becomes less about impressing people and more about impacting the world. I've told you before, people do not follow noise, they follow clarity, they follow congruence. They follow someone whose life reflects their values, whose words match their walk, whose stillness reveals strength. That is you. You are becoming that man. You are not here to blend in. You are not here to mimic. You are not here to perform. You are here to embody power, quiet power, real power, purposeful power. So walk like it, speak like it, stand like it, think like it, and the right people will rise with you. The right doors will open before you. The right results will chase you down. Not because of what you do, but because of who you've become. This is the secret of the aura. It is not built through striving, it is built through becoming. And when you become the man you were born to be, your energy will speak for you. It will lead before you arrive. It will protect when you are silent. It will attract what you no longer need to chase. Because your aura will now be operating as an agent of destiny. And destiny always responds to alignment. There will come a day, if it hasn't already, when you realize that the way people treat you has less to do with your appearance, your accolades, or your words, and everything to do with the energy you carry. You will notice that respect enters the room with you, not because you demanded it, but because you have become it. You will sense that people look to you, not out of fear, not out of fanfare, but because something about you says, here is a man who knows who he is. And that knowing, that conviction, that inner foundation is the substance of your aura. It is the invisible infrastructure of power that surrounds you. And it cannot be inherited. It cannot be bought. It must be built. You build it with choices. Not once, but daily. You build it by showing up when it's inconvenient, by staying silent when it's tempting to speak, by forgiving when it would be easier to fight, by holding your standard when no one else can see why it matters. Every one of these choices adds a layer to your character. And character is the essence of presence. The world is filled with men who talk, but the world is transformed by men who carry. Men who carry peace when the room is restless. Men who carry vision when others are blind. Men who carry the light when the atmosphere is heavy. This is what your aura was made for, not to decorate, but to deliver. Not to impress, but to inspire. Not to perform, but to project a frequency of wholeness. People will forget what you say. They will forget what you do, but they will not forget how you made them feel. And when your aura is authentic, when it is forged in discipline and truth, it will leave a mark on every soul it touches. But let me give you this warning. The stronger your presence becomes, the more your absence will be felt. The more others will crave your energy, even if they don't understand why. And if you're not careful, you will begin to pour from your essence into vessels that were never meant to carry you. You will begin to leak energy trying to heal people who refuse to grow. You will find yourself tired, not because your purpose is too heavy, but because your boundaries are too weak. So hear me now. You must protect your presence, not with ego, not with arrogance, but with sacred discipline. You must become unavailable to anything that threatens your clarity, to anyone who cannot honor your peace, to any habit, any distraction, any compromise that would diminish your power. Because once your aura is clean, it will attract everything it was designed to carry and repel everything it was never meant to entertain. And in that clarity, you will no longer chase. You will no longer explain. You will no longer hustle to be seen. You will simply radiate. You will walk through life knowing that you are tuned to a frequency few understand, but many need. Let me remind you, your aura is not meant for popularity. It is meant for purpose. And that purpose is not always comfortable. Sometimes it will isolate you. Sometimes it will make others uncomfortable. Sometimes it will cost you relationships, opportunities, and praise. But it will never cost you your soul. And that is the true measure of success. Not the noise you make, but the peace you keep. Not the fame you gather, but the impact you leave. Not the image you project, but the man you become when no one is watching. You do not become this man by accident. You become him by devotion. Devotion to the invisible work. Devotion to your highest self. Devotion to principles that will not bend under pressure. Devotion to a mission bigger than your comfort. This devotion is your edge. It is what makes you uncommon. And uncommon men do not live on common frequencies. They do not give their attention to gossip. They do not surrender their time to the trivial. They do not argue with those committed to misunderstanding. They know who they are, they know where they're going, and they know that the path to legacy is walked in quiet mastery. You are not a man of reaction. You are a man of rhythm. You are not a man of chaos. You are a man of control. You are not a man of noise. You are a man of knowing. And this knowing, that calm, that confidence, that clarity, that is your weapon. Not to fight others, but to conquer yourself. Because the greatest victory you will ever win is not over men, but over your own mind. When you can walk into a room full of conflict and stay composed, you are powerful. When you can hold your tongue in the face of insult, you are in control. When you can choose solitude over approval, you are leading. When you can serve without needing to be seen, you are walking in purpose. This is the man you are becoming. A man whose aura does the talking. A man who leads not just with plans, but with presence. A man who does not need to prove his strength because it radiates from every choice he makes. And let me tell you something more. When you truly carry this energy, the right people will find you. You will not need to chase them. They will recognize you, not by what you say, not by your achievements, but by the peace they feel around you, the safety, the certainty, the way your energy calms storms instead of creating them. This is the reward of the quiet work. This is the payoff for doing what others avoid. This is the legacy of the unshakable man. And legacy, my friend, is not something you leave. It is something you carry. You carry it in your walk, in your tone, in your silence, in your standards, in your ability to remain unmoved while others seek shelter. Because when you carry your aura with integrity, the world adjusts itself around you. You no longer bend to pressure. You no longer break from resistance. You stand, and standing, you shine. And shining, you lead. And leading, you change the atmosphere. Not through manipulation, but through magnetism. Not through domination, but through presence. Not through performance, but through essence. This is the secret the world does not teach, but I'm here to remind you. You do not need to become more. You need to become clear. Clear in your values. Clear in your vision. Clear in your voice. Clear in your energy. Because clarity is power. And when your aura reflects that clarity, you become unstoppable. So carry it. Carry your truth. Carry your light. Carry your discipline. Carry your peace. And know that those who cannot handle it were never meant to hold it. But those who can, they will rise because of it. Because your aura, when pure, when powerful, when protected, becomes a mirror for others to find their strength. And that, my friend, is your greatest contribution.